Welcome to Access a Trader, the #1 community for those who are committed to taking control of their trading in order to achieve success, profitability, and longevity. Thank you for joining us. Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good evening everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AccessATrader.com nightly wrap-up show. If you guys noticed the last 2-3 weeks, I've been taking like Wednesdays off, Thursdays off to record a video, but it's like 65 degrees, rain, came back from the gym. What else am I going to do, right? So I figured I'd share my thoughts. So here's the thoughts I will share. Guys, do me a favor, drop a like. All it takes is a second to support the channel. Drop a like, guys. We're just asking for a little bit of fingers on the mouse, and I'll be happy to continue doing these updates. So let's talk about it. If you've been watching the broadcast for the last 3 days, you know two things happened. Last 2 days prior to today's session, we got below the 5-day moving average. Again, whoever controls the 5-day controls short-term sentiment. Then yesterday, we had something of a rare occurrence in this really aggressive melt-up bull market. We had a close on the 20-day moving average, and if you watched last night's video, we've had 4 separate closes on the 20-day moving average since the April bottom, and every single time we bounced, right? We bounced to all-time highs. And my question going into today's session on yesterday's video, well, is the 4th time a charm, or is the 5th time a charm, or the 55th time a charm? But is it a charm? And again, like I said in last night's video, you couldn't be that egotistical to think we were going to automatically bounce, could you? That's what happens when you get complacent in a bull market. Again, markets that go up and melt up, they don't need reason, right? I don't even care what the headlines were that they claimed that the market went down at the open. But the point is the bull market doesn't need a reason to come in. It's called gravity. And I'll tell you one thing, like I said in last night's video, I was 235% sell bias today. We were just waiting, right? We were just waiting for this confirmation if they can confirm yesterday's channel today. And I even gave you guys the price on the Qs. The last night's price, that was the point of reference, was the price discovery zone was going to be 568.25. 568.25 was trading all pre-market, folks, all pre-market. And when you looked up, right, if you were long, the last thing you wanted to do, and we talked about it last night in the video, because again, with their measure potential, if yesterday's interval was going to be confirmed today, was going to be all the way down to 562. Well, we got a little bit more than that, okay? Just as you can blink if you are any holder of any technology stock today, as you can think, stocks got murdered. I think that's the best way of saying it. We were pretty much done for the day. I was done for the day in the first 11 minutes of the day. Okay, we'll get to the pivots in a second. But the most important part is we were prepared. And guys, that's all you can ask of yourself. I don't care of what type of trader you are, your years experience, you're going to be wrong in your thought process a lot. Okay, the longer you trade, the market price action sometimes just doesn't confirm in your opinion, but that's okay. You could be wrong theoretically 100 times out of 100 as long as you're not pig-headed enough to believe that everything will be all right because you're a good human being, right? That's just the reality. And the one thing that I have always maintained, especially over the last 16 years of hosting this webinar, is we're always prepared. I'm always prepared on both sides. And we knew the importance of yesterday's channel, the 568.25 level. We knew what was going to happen if these stocks violated yesterday's move. And that's exactly what happened. Again, we'll get to the pivots in a second. And like I said in last night's video, it wouldn't make a difference of what you were looking at, okay? If one was going to fall, they all fell. And I will tell you, this was one of the most aggressive opens I can remember probably since February, when we lost the 50-day moving average. We were going down every single day. So here is the Qs. Here are the Qs. My English teacher is probably rolling over in her grave, right? Here are the Qs. So you can see here, 65 and a quarter, right? It was this whole channel here. And once they lost 65 and a quarter, not only did they go down to the 34 EMA, they went all the way down to 558. I mean, this was one of the most aggressive destruction zones I could remember. If you were long anything, I feel for you, right? I feel for you. We'll get to the good part about what happened today in a second, but this was one of the most aggressive sell-offs. We were prepared for it. If you watched last night's video, and you're a trader, again, if you're an investor, folks, this channel does nothing for you, okay? A lot of guys will say, well, this one didn't work, that one didn't work. Remember you talking about Tesla 6 years ago? Well, what are you guys talking about? We trade day to day, man. You think I'm trying to guess where the market's going to be after tomorrow's session? We're trading day to day. We trade both sides of the market. I couldn't care less if Tesla goes to 1,000. I don't care if Tesla goes to, I don't want to say that. But the point is, we're trading intervals. We're trying to win our intervals. We're not trying to guess the closing price. We're not trying to be smart. We're trying to take our data that we talk about every single night, take our data and apply it for the next day. And if it confirms, fantastic. Then our read was completely right. If we were wrong and we bounced today, you know what? Guess what? Like I said in last night's video, what would have been the worst case scenario? We held the 20-day moving average and we would have been buying stock. Again, scary, right? So the point is, folks, you're a human being. You're going to be wrong a lot. You're going to be right a lot. The longer you trade, everything balances out, but your opinion is everything. Your opinion is based on your process. And if you trust your process, you're probably going to trust your opinion. And all you can give yourself is that puncher shot every single day. So the market got absolutely smoked at the open. I took it basically down to 4 setups. Again, like I said in last night's video, if you were going to watch everything, you were going to miss everything, right? If you look at last night's watch list, a lot of these stocks, right? A lot of these stocks, they got hit really, really hard pre-market. Like I stopped looking at CRCL, I stopped looking at Apple, and I stopped looking at Reddit. Like Reddit was down to like 217 pre-market. Circle was getting murdered. Apple, like all these things. So what we had left was Tesla, right? If you guys remember, the last 2 days we were long Tesla, and today we were short Tesla, right? If you don't understand how the dynamics of that work, Google the word trader, right? You'll kind of figure it out. But so Tesla daily chart 327 held multiple times, 3 times. It lost the 27, and as you can imagine, this is basically what I said, we were pretty much done the first 11, 12 minutes of the day. Tesla went from 427 all the way down to 314. Excuse me, from 327 to down to 314. Absolutely destroyed. The next one was Robinhood. Remember we were talking about Robinhood, right? So Robinhood was the next one. What happened to my Robinhood? Robinhood was the next one, right? 106.30 was the previous day's channel, and 105.50 was the pre-market lows. If it builds below, it can get hit, right? That's an understatement. Let me just clear out these wicks here so you can see it a little bit better. Robinhood got murdered, absolutely murdered. So it took out the 106.50, took out the pre-market lows of 105.50, and traded down to all the way down to $99. Absolutely manslaughter. NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA got smoked. 175.50 short. Sometimes you just use the word short. You don't need to say it needs to build. Blah, blah, blah. Short, right? 175.50 short. Here was NVIDIA, right? So NVIDIA lost the 175.50, traded all the way down to 168.80, just absolutely annihilated. And the last one was Meta. And again, there was a million stocks that did the same thing. But again, like I said in last night's video, if you watch everything, you're going to miss everything. So 745 is the pre-market lows. If it confirms down, it can flush more, right? Meta got smoked, traded all the way down to 731. You're talking about $14 move right at the open. So all these stocks did this within the first 10, 12 minutes of the day. And just like the most incredible washout I've seen since probably February, and I was already done for the day, literally in the first 12 minutes. I even tweeted out, I was like, all right, guys, I'm done with social media for the rest of the day. Have a great day. We were sitting there bullshitting pretty much the whole day in the webinar until everything started bouncing. Right? Everything started bouncing. When you see the aggressive nature of this bounce, it was as really incredibly orchestrated, just like the washout sell-off. The problem is a lot of new traders, they got caught long overnight. So I'm guessing they sold at the lows. And then a lot of newer traders said, that's it. This is the end of the world. The market's going to zero. Ha, ha, ha. Bulls never lose. Excuse me. Bulls never learn. And then they got caught because the market started grinding itself up somewhere around 10 o'clock. That was the lows, literally the lows. Again, this was like an 11, 12-minute workday. They started grinding up and all the way up. And this was one of the best grind ups I can remember in a very, very long time. And what the Bulls did accomplish today was, number one, reclaim back the 34 EMA, which was super duper bullish, right? But more important, guys, it put in a technical hammer, right? If you're a novice trader, if you are just starting to learn Japanese candlesticks, an inverse hammer is bearish. So for example, here, take a look. So inverse hammer is bearish. This is the first one I found on May 21st. And what happened was the market went down, right? So a hammer, right? A hammer, like we saw a hammer here on August the 1st, it would be considered a buy, right? A buy signal. So this was a big hammer. And we were we were nearly $7 off the lows. So if you look at every single chart tonight, everything looks the same, right? NVIDIA, it looks the same, right? Hammer, you got PLTR, hammer, this every single one. The greener the hammer, the better, right? So every single tech stock looks exactly the same today. So here's kind of what I'm thinking going into tomorrow, right? Yes, we had the wash that we wanted. We were prepared for the wash. Congratulations to all you guys who took literally anything were prepared for today's day. And now the question is, can this hammer, right? Can this hammer be traded tomorrow? And the question is, let's see, right? Just like every single day, I have no idea. Just the way I said last night, I go, we stopped at the 20-day moving average. Does it possibly bounce off the 20-day moving average? Sure, but I'm ready to the downside. That was my game plan. So now for tomorrow, a lot of these stocks, even though they put in hammers, they're kind of right in the middle of their ranges. So it's going to make tomorrow a little bit trickier. So what I did I did this afternoon, when I was looking at these charts, I was trying to identify the charts in the technology sector that were the closest to their upper range. Like, I don't want something in the middle of the range. Like, if something, like, I get an example, right? Like Tesla, right, closed right in the middle of its ranges. Even though it reclaimed back the 50-day moving average, but the high of the day today was 331, the low today was 314, the stock closed at 323, right? So it's right in the middle of the ranges. So I try to say to myself, if we do bounce tomorrow, let me find charts that are at least as close as possible to their upper range tomorrow if we do bounce tomorrow, that we could trade into the upside. And here's the names that I found. And again, I'm sure there's a million other names, but here's the names that I found. NVIDIA, number one, closed within, 50 cents of its highs, right? So again, that's one of the names you want to watch in case we do bounce tomorrow. PLTR, that absolutely got smoked over the last few days, closed within 50 cents of its highs. You follow what I'm saying? So I'm trying to find stocks that if we do have a bounce day tomorrow, or at least continue the bounce from today, we can concentrate on the names that close near their highs versus the stock that closed in the middle of the channel or close at the lows. So here's the other side of the equation. So we pretty much had a bounce on everything today, for the exception of Apple. Not sure why, but for the exception of Apple. So while every other stock was way off their lows, okay, Apple, for some reason, closed within 20 cents of its lows. So here is the flip side of it, right? So obviously, if the market doesn't follow through this bounce attempt today and we start rolling over again, now we're looking for the names that didn't rally, okay? Obviously, Apple closing within 30 cents of its lows would be a prime target that if the market does get pulled again, okay, well, I'm gonna concentrate on that. So it's a very, very fine line. When you're making your opinion, you have your thesis for the next day, you always have to be open-minded for both sides of the ledger, right? Yesterday, I was super, super convinced that there's a potential for the finally 20-day break for the levee and the dam to break, that we finally get the washout, and we got it. But today's close a little bit more trickier, a little bit more dynamic. I think you have to be a little bit more patient tomorrow for the stronger stocks to put in opening range highs. And obviously the weaker ones who didn't rally today put in the opening range lows, and then watch the options market. If the options market start betting in that direction and the stock cannot rally and starts losing today's lows, then you know there's more downside ahead. So hopefully everybody who watched the video again last night, thank you very much for all your support. It's not a great call. It's not a great anything. Guys, we're not trying to make calls. We're not trying to be right. We're just trying to listen to what the market is telling us and find the data that's going to back it up and just simply wait for confirmation. If you're still sitting there on social media, you're looking for likes and shares and, for everybody to measure your, right? You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. Trust the charts. Let the charts speak to you. We're traders. We're not investors. I don't care if Tesla again goes to 1,000 or goes to, I won't say it, best stock ever. Most important, folks, be in the game, stay in the game, be smart. Let your, take your time with your development and let yourself grow organically. Guys, God bless everybody. Tomorrow night, there is no video. Have a great night. I will see you all tomorrow on the field. Take care.